Hi, True Crime Grapevine fans. It's me, Patty Lee. How you doing? It's been 2 weeks since I uploaded. It is the 44th episode of the True Crime Grapevine. If you don't know what that is, let me tell you. I am Patty Lee. I'm a dyslexic armchair detective. I watch, even though I haven't been uploading, every day I watch YouTube and the news and read the big newspapers as well as some smaller newspapers locally about all the crimes that are happening and that everybody's talking about on the interwebs. Then I try to smash that down, kind of like how wine, where they squish all the grapes down into like a lovely wine. That's me. I'm the squisher of the news grapes, as it were. And then I watch all of that and try to put it in a little package for you so that you don't have to watch all the crime, because there is too much crime and not enough time. So what has been going on since the last time I uploaded, which was about 12 days ago? Let me tell you, we've got a lot going on. I'm going to start with 3 new cases. We have a couple more new cases, but these are the first 3 that I'm going to upload first. And this is episode 44. And this is case 1. What is case 1? Well, look over my shoulder and you will see 2 pictures of the same man, sort of a Jekyll and Hyde situation, as it were. As you can see, this is the deadly dentist, James Toliver Craig, 45, from Aurora, California. Or Aurora, Colorado. That's the dyslexia part. What is going on in Aurora, Colorado? What is going on in Colorado? We have a lot of cases about spouses from Colorado. Well, before we start, I'm going to need a drink. We always pair a drink here on the True Crime Grapevine. We are pairing this Green Truly Citrus Pump. Because pump. I said pump because it says punch, but I've got Vanderpump on the brain because I don't just watch true crime. I watch all the interwebs, scandals, or scandavals, as it were. So, which has kind of been putting me off true crime because I was watching all the social crimes, as it were, on Vanderpump Rules. So anyways, we're gonna it also was the holiday of, what is it, March 17th. So we're gonna be doing March 17th. Oh, St. Patty's Day, my day. I'm gonna pour this into here and a little squeeze of lime. That's right, just to make it a bit fancy. I drink all my hard seltzers and malt liquors. In what I think everybody should drink, a hard liquor, a hard malt beverage, any malt beverage in, which is a nice little just, jar, as it were. All right, jelly jar, jam jar. Oh, very refreshing. Not really green like I thought, but that was good. Truly, that was good. Okay, we need to drink. I always pair something alcoholic, but if you don't drink, you can pair a nice non-alcoholic drink. But I always need a drink to deal with medicinally these cases. So this Mr. James, doctor, dentist, James Toliver Craig. Why are we talking about him in Colorado again with a spouse? Well, this one is very new because last Sunday his wife died, and then Monday he was indicted. I believe it was Monday or Tuesday. He was indicted for her murder. So what happened? Well, you can see too, here's his before picture, before he got caught, when he was texting his wife lovely, lovey texts about, I don't know what's wrong, why you're in the hospital. And there he is after he was found out. Oh, not only was he in the hospital, not only did he put his wife in the hospital, but he was having an affair with an orthodontist from Texas. I don't know why they say from Texas, as if that makes it worse. Angela Craig was his beloved. They had been married for over 20 years. They have 6 children, ages 20 to 8, I believe. They're Mormons. Again, a running theme through a lot of our cases lately, which is nothing. I mean, I guess if we looked at everybody's religion, we'd probably find there's a lot of all different religions, because we all know going to church does not make us great people. But I'm just wondering culturally if perhaps, and if you're a Mormon out there, please let me know in the comments, or if you know anything about Mormon religion. But is it bad to be divorced? And so, like, is it better to be a widower socially or culturally in the religion rather than just to divorce somebody? Because it just seems like people are going to an extreme to divorce somebody when they, to not divorce, when that would be a lot better, really, in the long run for everybody. I don't know. So, as you can see, Angela's here with her beautiful family and her fake loving husband. In my opinion, he's a fake loving husband, you know, because he unalived her. She was 43. So 2 years younger, about the same age. And their family looks beautiful. It looks like there's 5 girls. Looks like the oldest maybe was a boy. It's hard to tell because they, the picture I chose blurred their faces, as I believe we should, with people who aren't involved in the case. Here's the story. I've got a little visual for you. I don't know if you knew this. I didn't when it started, but here's the chemical bonds for the 2 substances that Dr. Craig is allegedly to have used, right? So because he hasn't gone in front of a jury, because there's only a 50-some page document detailing in detail very damning, but still allegedly what he did, evidence, we're going to presume he is innocent until proven guilty. This one's a hard one, folks. Again, why we drink here on the True Crime Grapevine. It's hard to be judiciously without prejudice. I could not be on this jury. Not in a million years. Because we have in the indictment and what has been on, if you want to watch some long form podcast on this, I can suggest wholeheartedly Gisela K of Grizzly to Crime has done a very deep dive on this case. She had a pre-deep dive, and today, I believe, or yesterday, she did a deep dive. Go watch it. She gives a great timeline. It is about 2 hours long, but boy, by the end of it, you know the case. She's one of my big sources. So I try to condense it a little bit and always ask at the end, what can we learn from it? But she is your down and dirty details. Highly recommended. One of my main squeeze sources. So apparently he first, as of around March 6th, had decided, I guess, that he was going to drug her. The indictment does detail that, and he mentions in his text to her, or at least alludes to, he had drugged her before, like 5 or 6 years prior to this incident. In that incident, he said he wanted to kill himself. He didn't drug her to hurt her. He drugged her because he needed her not to save him when he killed himself. Of course, he didn't kill himself, so... And apparently, Angela knew that he had multiple affairs, but she forgave him along the way. She was a forgiving wife. They had 6 beautiful kids together. She's not a quitter. I do think probably her religion and, played into the idea of, it is good to forgive. And with 6, I don't know what I would do, and I don't think any of us would exactly in her position, but I wonder how many of us would be okay with being drugged previously and being told, well, it was because I didn't want you to bother me while I killed myself, when, yeah, but you didn't kill yourself, and you're cheating on me repetitively. It just seems dangerous, right? And then this time after March 6th, she starts to not feel well. He's so great, you guys. He doesn't pour his own. She didn't have to pour her own drinks. Oh, he poured her drinks for her. Now, they're Mormons. If you know, Mormons don't drink, which is cool. And I don't think they also don't drink caffeine, which would drive me crazy because I not only have a nightcap, but I also drink copious amounts of coffee. But needless to say, what was she drinking then? Well, like a protein shake, a pre-workout shake. And her hubby, the dentist, would make it for her. Did you hear? Dun, dun, dun. Well, you should have, because apparently he started putting arsenic in them, and she started to get sick. I guess it wasn't working fast enough, and he switched to potassium cyanide. Yes, cyanide. Started putting that in her protein drinks. And in the exchanges, we can see that she says things like, oh, the drink you made me tasted kind of off. And he's like, what did it take? Oh, I'll check. Maybe something I put in it went bad. I won't use it again. And she responds, well, it wasn't exactly bad, just a little chalky or a little poisony. This all started by March 6th. She went in the hospital, I believe, March 9th. She was experiencing dizziness. She was experiencing headaches and I think stomach aches, some nausea, but really bad headaches and dizziness. And they kept her in the hospital for, I believe, through the 15th, if I'm not mistaken, a number of days. And we see the text exchanges where, now I don't know if he's going to the hospital and continuing to bring her protein shake, but, or if she started to get better because, she was in the hospital at that point, but they did not test because they typically don't test for arsenic or cyanide. Continued not to feel well. The exchanges say things like, he's like saying, oh, I miss you. I wish you were here. I had a dream about making love to you. In the meantime, we find out he flew his mistress, the orthodontist from Texas. And if you're imagining her with like big, horsey smile, huge smile, that's what I don't know why I haven't seen pictures of her. That's what I'm imagining. As one would say, your basic nightmare. But she knew that she was the mistress. She felt bad, I guess, that his wife was ill. He flew her in for a while, and then she was coming home. When she came home, he continued to make her protein drinks, and she fell even more ill, had to be re-hospitalized. I believe that was went back on the 17th, which was St. Patty's Day, which was Friday, I believe. And then over the weekend, as soon as she was brought back that time on the 17th. So she had only been home for a few days. Had a seizure, had to be in the ICU, put on a ventilator. And by Sunday or late Saturday night, she was brain dead. And then by Sunday, the husband took her, signed the papers to take her off all the machines and did not want an autopsy. Who does that remind you of? Hey, Chad! If you know, you know. Yeah, Chad Daybell. That's what it reminds us. Because remember, Tammy didn't need an autopsy either. So when somebody has a strange disease and the husband's like, no, we don't need an autopsy, that doesn't sit well. But the real thing, the hero in this story, was a nurse at his office. What did she do? Well, when he had gone through one package of cyanide, I don't know how much comes in a package, but he had ordered the other one. Of course, they got his computer right, and they could see what he was ordering, where he was sending it. But they didn't even think to look for this until this nurse came and said, I opened a package, because he had sent the second one to his office, and he told the nurse, don't look in this box, which he was acting sketchy. And when someone says don't look in something, you kind of like, okay, but I'm just going to look. And thank goodness she did. It said biohazard. And so she's like, okay, we're in a dental office. Biohazard is not good. Well, it was potassium cyanide, which she knew was a poison that they did not use in the dental practice. So she, as soon as the wife died, mentioned to police, well, we got this weird package for whatever. They test her. So then they also went and got, that's why as soon as she died, I believe she died was brain dead Saturday, taken off ventilators. Sunday, they immediately were already being informed, looking into them, and that's why so quickly they were saying they were looking into the death. It was suspicious that they had been tipped off and done testing, and then they found it. So don't think just because they don't regularly test for something that you're going to get away with it, because I don't know. Things have a way of showing up. So yes, I have the dates that between March 6th and the 13th, he put the cyanide, started with arsenic, it wasn't moving fast enough, moved to cyanide in her protein workout shakes. And as you can see, poisons equal what? Oh, the crossbones. Anyways, so our friend, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, dentist with the girlfriend in Texas, who's the orthodontist, is in jail as we speak. He has been charged with first-degree murder. I forget what else his other charges are. We will be talking about this case again. So, please, no matter what your religion, divorce in the long run is way cheaper than any murder charge. That is not the way to handle a problem, no matter how much you love your spouse. Please just leave. We don't need to be trying to be sneaky. Oh, I even if we're in bankruptcy, apparently Dr. Jekyll, Dr. Craig, was also bankrupting his, I think he may have been the second bankruptcy, his own dental practice. So the guy was out of control in all areas of his life. So what can we learn from this? One, if you're a wife, especially if you're not feeling well, don't take food from someone who A, has drugged you before, and B, if you're not feeling well, you don't have to be paranoid, but just be smart about it. I mean, this guy gave her signals. Like I said, one of the texts was, and maybe I didn't finish saying it, sorry, that's the dyslexia ADHD, but one of the texts, when she said she was in the hospital, they were trying to figure out what was wrong with her before she came home the first time. She said, well, something about, I forget how it started, but he goes, I didn't drug you, right? I know we have a history, but I didn't drug you. The fact that he would say, I didn't drug you, kind of shows, like, I believe she had said something intimating that, like, you didn't do it, like, I'm sure you wouldn't poison me. Ha, ha, ha. The fact that he had drugged her in the past for whatever reason, and then she had some mysterious illness. So what can we learn from this? I would certainly not take a drink that my husband made for me every day if he had drugged me in the past. I think we can all agree, make our own protein drinks, right? If not, make them sip out of it. Make them make a double batch and take two. I don't know. But isn't that horrible that you have to think like that? But that is something we can do. Also, if you are feeling ill, learn the symptoms. We should all know the symptoms of poisoning. Headache, dizziness, nausea. Then nerve problems, like neuropathy when your fingers tingle and stuff. If you are experiencing those, be careful about what you're taking into your body. And poisoning, you can have like black mold poisoning, but those are the symptoms of being poisoned, either purposefully or environmentally. Headache, with stomach ache, with dizziness, because that's all neurological. Let's learn those. And doctors, if there's any doctors out there, If anybody has weird symptoms that you can't figure out, start testing for things like potassium, cyanide, and arsenic, because people be cray. All right, so that was our first case. I hope you learned something. You all stay safe out there and make your own protein drinks.